Good day everyone! Handa ka na bang matuto sa larangan ng mathematics? Halina't manood at makinig sa aking video tutorials. Be ready, set, and compute! Muli, ako ang iyong lingkod, Sir Jordan M. Sereno.
Good day everyone, isang mapagpalang araw sa ating lahat at welcome sa ating part 2 ng ating discussions about polynomial equation. So this time, ang ating lesson is about problem solving involving polynomial equation. So ito yung part 2, hiniwalay natin ito kasi mas detailed na gagawin natin pag discuss dito because it's all about the application of polynomial equations. How do we solve problems involving polynomial equations? So this will be the application ng mga natutunan natin nung part 1 about polynomials. Okay, so I hope ay ready na kayo. Simulan na natin ito. For our learning objectives, after going through this lesson, you're expected to solve problems involving polynomials and polynomial equation. So, ang main goal natin is to solve problems involving the polynomials and polynomial equation. So, medyo mabigat itong part na to because it's problem solving, but again, makinig lang kayong mabuti at itindihin yung bawat procedures na gagawin natin dito. Makakapag-solve kayo ng mga problems involving polynomial equations. Okay, for our concept presentation, so the fundamental theorem of algebra taught you that the number of zeros, including the repeated zeros of polynomialic function of degree n are equal. Ibig sabihin, kung ano yung number or the degree, that would be also the number of zeros. So, yun yung concept natin, theorem about algebra. Now, for the concept of the algebra, this means that a cubic equation has 3 roots. Okay, so, and the quartic equation has 4 roots because cubic equation is a third degree equation and the quartic equation is a fourth degree equation. So, na-explain ko na naman ito sa mga past lessons natin that yung ating number of roots ay nakadepende kung ano yung klase ng equation. So, nakadepende yun kung ano yung kanyang highest degree. Kapag ang highest exponent niya is 3, therefore that is a cubic equation. Therefore, it has 3 roots, at most 3 roots. At kapag naman ang highest exponent natin is 4, so quartic equation yun, therefore meron siyang 4 roots. So, nakadepende yung roots sa degree. No? Yung dami ng roots ay nakadepende sa degree ng isang polynomial equation. Okay, let's have our first learning task. So, complete the table below by identifying the degree and real roots of polynomial equation. So, if a root occurs twice, then use multiplicity 2. Or, if it occurs thrice, use multiplicity 3. Ibig sabihin, papasimplihin natin kapag twice siyang naulit, gagamitin natin itong term na to, itong multiplicity 2. Sabihin, twice, no, dalawang beses na ulit yung root na yon, or kapag 3 times naman siya, so mas magandang ilalagay natin multiplicity 3. So para mas formal yung ating itsura ng ating mga roots. Kasi kapag para hindi natin ulit isusulat yung mga roots niya. Kasi there's a possibility na maulit yung mga roots natin. Okay? Okay, so for our first task, so we're going to complete the table. So I have here the first 3 sets of the polynomial equations. Tingnan natin kung paano nakuha itong mga values na to. Okay, simulan natin sa number 1. So we have here the quantity of x minus 1 times the quantity of x plus 2 is equal to 0. Therefore, ang degree niya ay 2. It is because ang given natin ay naka-quadratic. No? Quadratic equations ito dahil you have 2 factors here. So, ang roots natin, so we have 1 and negative 2. So, paano siya nakuha? Pakita lang natin, mabilis lang. So, for example, you have this x minus 1. So, this is like solving for the value of x. So, if you're going to solve for this, you have x minus 1 is equal to 0. Okay, and then your goal is to get the value of x. So just get the additive inverse of negative 1. So you have this 1, positive 1. So you just add 1 both sides of the equation. So x minus 1 plus 1, and that is x. Okay, and then 0 plus 1 is 1. That is why the value of x here is 1. So that will be your first root. And then the second root ay manggagaling sa x plus 2. So same procedure din siya. Get the additive inverse of 2, and that is negative 2. So your x is equal to negative 2. And that will be your second root. And then number of real roots, bibilangin mo lang ilan ba yung roots natin na real numbers. So that is 1 and negative 2. So you have a total of 2 real roots. Okay? Next, for number 3. So as you can see here, naka-factored form siya. So 2x, and then you have x minus 3. Okay, 2x, and then you have x minus 3, and then x plus 2. So you have a total of 3 factors. Therefore, ang roots niyan ay 3. So ang degree natin ay 3. So naka-ano to, cubic. Okay, so again, ang degree ay yun din yung number of factors niya. Okay, and then yung roots natin ay galing sa mga factors natin. So yung negative 2 ay nanggaling kay x plus 2. Yung 0 ay galing kay 2x. And then yung 3 ay galing kay x minus 3. So, ito, madali lang naman. X minus 3, additive inverse of negative 3 is 3. And then sa 2 is negative 2. So, paano naman natin nakuha yung 0? So, kung sa 2x yun, so papakita lang natin. Okay, so kung sa 2x siya, natin gagawin. Okay, so if yung 2x ay kukunin natin yung value ng x niyan. So 2x is equal to 0. Okay, so solving for x here, so we're going to divide both sides of the equation by 2, or you're going to multiply this by 1/2. Okay, and 2x times 1/2, and that is x. Okay, and then 0 times 1/2 is 0. So any number multiplied by 0, the answer is always 0. Kaya ang naging value ng x natin ay 0. So doon ang galing yung root na 0. Okay? And then, so number of real roots natin ay syempre 3 rin. Yun yung negative 2, 0, at saka 3. Okay? Next, yung ating third equation. You have x plus 2 cubed times the quantity of x minus 2 is equal to 0. So, ang degree natin ay 4. So, bakit siya naging 4? So, meron tayo ditong exponent na 3. Okay? So, 3. And then, dito naman ay 1. So, ang total factors natin ay 4. And then, paano natin kukunin yung kanyang mga roots? So, may nakita tayo dito sinasabi, negative 2 multiplicity of 3. Ibig sabihin, naulit ng 3 beses yung negative 2. Kaya ginamit natin itong term na itong multiplicity 3. Naulit siya ng 3 beses. Bakit? Kasi kung titingnan nyo dito, itong x plus 2 ay naka-raise sa 3. So, pag in-expand mo yan, ibig sabihin yan, tama, 3x plus 2. So, pag kinuha mo yung isa, automatic yun na rin yung magiging roots nung dalawa pang natitira. Kasi parehas lang naman yan eh. So, paano natin nakuha yun? So, itong x plus 2, equate lang natin sa 0 yan. So, your x is equal to negative 2. Tapos, dahil naka-cube siya, 3 beses yan. Kaya you have negative 2 multiplicity 3. And then, yung 2 natin ay dito. Galing siya kay x minus 2. Okay? Kay x minus 2. So, x minus 2 is equal to 0. Therefore, x is equal to 2. Kaya, ang number of roots natin ay 4. So, 3 negative 2 at saka 1 2. Ito, hindi ito. Baka malito kayo sa 3 ha. Sinasabi nito is kung ilang beses na ulit yung negative 2. So, 3 negative 2 tsaka 1 2. Kaya, ang total number of real roots natin ay 4. Okay? So, I hope ay na-gets niyo yun. Kung paano siya nakuha. Okay? So, let's see yung mga susunod. Let's have number 4. Let's check. Okay, how about this? The quantity of x minus 2 times the quantity of x plus 2 times the quantity of x minus 4 is equal to 0. Degree. Correct. That is 3. Kasi you have 3 factors there. What are the roots? Okay, the roots are 2, negative 2, and 4. So, yung negative 2 ay, yung 2 ay galing dito sa x minus 2. Yung x plus 2 ay negative 2 pag sinolve, at yung 4 ay galing kay x minus 4. And number of real roots niya ay, syempre, 3 din. Okay? Next, number 5, you have x times the quantity of x minus 1 squared times the quantity of x plus 2 is equal to 0. Okay, ano ang ating degree dito? Okay, that is 4. So, sir, paano nakuha yun? So, itong x, meron na yung isa. Naka-raise yan sa 1. Tapos, itong x minus 1 ay naka-raise sa 2. So, meron na tayong 3, tapos itong x plus 2 pa, so 4. So, 1, 2, at saka 1. So, 1 plus 2, 3, plus 1, 4. Okay? So, therefore, ang roots natin ay 4 din. Okay? So, you have 0. So, saan nanggaling yung 0? Dito yun kay x. X is equal to 0. Tapos, itong x minus 1, pag kinumpit mo ang value ng x nito, that is 1. Tapos, nakaratio sa 2, kaya meron tayo ditong 1 multiplicity 2. Ibig sabihin, naulit ng 2 beses yung root na 1. Tapos, negative 2. Yung negative 2 natin ay nanggaling kay x plus 2. And the number of free roots natin ay still 4. So, kung ano yung degree natin, yun din yung number of free roots natin. Okay? Next, number 6. You have x plus 4 squared. And then you have x minus 3 cubed. So, ang degree natin is correct. That is 5. 2 plus 3, 5. And then, what are the roots? So, syempre, you have negative 4 multiplicity 2 and 1 multiplicity 3. So, paano natin nakuha yon? So, dito muna tayo sa x plus 4. Pag kinumpit mo ang value ng x nito, that is negative 4. Tapos, dahil naka-squared siya, so, dalawang negative 4. Kaya, meron tayong negative 4 multiplicity 2. So, twice na naulit yung negative 4. Tapos, sa x minus 1 naman, pag kinumpit natin yung value ng x nito, that is 1. Tapos, nakaratio sa 3. So, 3 beses na ulit yung 1. Kaya, meron tayo ditong 1 multiplicity 3. Therefore, ang number of free roots natin ay 5. Dalawang negative 2 at saka 3 1. Kaya, total of 5 real roots. Okay? Next, number 7. You have the quantity of x plus 5 times the quantity of x plus 1 is equal to 0. Ito, medyo madali. The degree is, correct, that is 2. And the roots are negative 5 and negative 1. And the number of real roots is 2. Okay? And our last item, we have x cubed times the quantity of x minus 1 times the quantity of x plus 1 is equal to 0. Okay, what is the degree? That is 4. Okay, so paano natin nakuha yung 4? So, dito sa x squared, dalawa na yan. Tapos, isang x minus 1, tapos itong x plus 1. So, tag-isa sila, plus itong 2. So, we have a total of 4. And what are the roots? So, the roots are 0, 1, negative 1. Okay, so, bakit taging tatlo lang yan? It is because itong x squared is equal to 0. So, dalawang 0. So, hindi na natin kinakount yun. Yung 0 multiplicity of 2. Wala. Kasi 0 yun. So, ang multiplicity magkisimula lang sa 1 or negative 1. Okay? And then, yung x minus 1, ang value nito is 1. Ito siya. Tapos, yung x plus 1, pag kinumpit natin yung value ng x nito, that is negative 1. Okay? So, the total number of free roots ay 3 lang. Hindi 4. Ha? So, ito yung exemption to the rule. Kanina, most of the time, kung ano yung degree, yun din yung number of free roots. But this time, kapag yun ay parehas 0, inulit lang, like ito. Kasi ang x squared, okay, ang x squared kasi, kapag kinumpit natin yung value ng x niyan, that is 0. So, ang 0 ay hindi ginagamitan ng multiplicity. Okay? Kaya, hindi natin siya uulitin. Kaya, isa lang, isang 0 lang. Kaya, dito, ang lumabas dito is 0 lang. Okay, wala siyang multiplicity kahit naka-squared yun. Tapos, yung sa negative 1, okay, para yun sa x plus 1, tapos yung positive 1. Kaya ang total natin ay 3 lang. Okay, I hope klaro yun. Okay, sa part na to. Okay, ayan, that's it. That's how we complete this table. That's how we identify the parts of a given polynomial equation. Okay, I hope naintindihan nyo yun. Nag-guess nyo yung process. Kapag medyo malabo, balik-balikan nyo lang yung part kung paano natin siya sinosolve isa-isa. Okay? In solving polynomial equations, we apply the factor theorem, but when the equation is expressed as linear factors, the zero product property will be directly applied to solve its solution. So, you already have the idea on how we're going to use factor theorem. Ito yung ating previous lesson, no, on the factor theorem and remainder theorem. So, mamaya ay i-apply natin siya at i-reviewin natin ulit paano siya ginagamit sa polynomial equations. Now, and then meron din tayo dito another property which is the zero product property. So, gagamitin na dito when the equation is expressed as linear factors. So, mamaya malalaman nyo ano ba itsura ng linear factors, kailan ginagamit yung zero product property, at kailan dapat gamitin yung factor theorem. Okay, so kung ready na kayo, simulan na natin to. Okay, for our first example, consider the equation x minus 2 times the quantity of 2x plus 3 times the quantity of x plus 1 is equal to 0. This is an equation, okay? Kasi naka-equate siya sa 0. Now, since the equation is presented as linear factor, eto na. Ito yung sinasabi nating linear factors. Ibig sabihin, yung ating equation ay in factored form. Kung mapapansin niyo dito sa ating given, no, factored form siya. So equation siya, but yung content niya are all factors of the given polynomial equation. So dito, kapag naka-linear factor siya, so anong gagamitin natin? Gagamitin natin si zero product property. So again, once na ang given natin ay naka-linear factors, so pwede natin gamitin ngayon yung zero product property. Okay, so how we going to solve for that? So ang gagawin lang natin ay i-equate lang natin sa zero yung mga factors natin. Okay, so yung x minus 1 natin, equate natin sa 0, and then you have yung second factor natin, equate natin sa 0, at ganoon din gagawin natin sa ating third factor na x plus 1, equate din natin sa 0. Okay? Solving each linear equations would yield 2. So yung ating first factor is x minus 2, so equate lang natin siya sa 0, and then solve for x, so the value for x is 2. And then for our second factor, you have 2x plus 3 is equal to 0. And then equate lang natin ito. And then solve for x. So you have 2x is equal to negative 3. Just get the additive inverse of 3, and that is negative 3. And then multiply this by 1/2. So your x is equal to negative 3 over 2. And then our third factor is x minus 1 is equal to 0. And then solve for x, or x is equal to negative 1. So which is the solution to the given polynomial equation. So what are the factors? We have 2, negative 3 over 2, and negative 1. Okay, so those are the factors for the given linear equations. Okay, so we have 2, okay, and then negative 3 halves, so these are the roots, and then negative 1. Okay. Next example, what if the polynomial is not in factored form? So how are we going to solve its solution? So let's consider this. This is our, let's have this as our equation now. So you have 2x cubed minus x squared minus 4x plus 3 is equal to 0. So hindi siya naka-factored form, naka-standard form siya. Okay, naka-arrange naman yun in descending order. As you can see, ang ating first term dito is, it has the highest exponent. Ito yung ating leading term. And then, you have here the constant, and then equate natin sa 0. So, pag ganito yung itsura ng ating polynomial equation, so paano ba sinusolve yung kanyang solution or yung roots niya? Okay, so first step is to list all the possible roots of the polynomial equation using the rational root theorem. So, paano ba natin gagawin yon? So, just check for the value of P and Q. So, ito yon, kung ano yung ating leading term at saka yung ating constant. Ayan. And then, so what are the possible value factors niyan? So, ang possible roots are 1, positive negative 1, positive negative 2, positive negative 3, positive negative 2 over 3. So, dito yan ang galing. So, ang factors ng 2 ay 1 times 2, at ang factors ng 3 ay 3 times 1. Or 1 times 3. And then you have P over Q. So you have 2 over 3. So these are the possible roots. Possible roots pa lang to, class. Hindi ito lahat yung roots. Okay? Possible lang yan. Diyan lang tayo mamimili. Bakit? Kasi ang kailangan lang nating roots ay ilan? Okay, very good. Ang kailangan lang nating roots ay 3. Because the highest degree in this equation is 3. Therefore, the roots na hinahanap natin ay 3 lang. So, ito, nilagay natin yung all possible roots na pwede nating pagpilian. Pero sa lahat ng ito, 3 lang yung makukuha natin dyan. Okay? So, paano natin malalaman yung 3 yon? So, second step natin is to apply the factor theorem and use the synthetic division to check if one of the listed roots is a factor. If it's a factor, then it also one of the solutions to the polynomial equation. So, tingnan natin. So, if this is our equation, okay? So, if this is our equation, class, so what we're going to do is, let's try one of the factors. So, lagi ang sinasabi ko ay simulan nyo sa pinakamababa at pinakasimple. So, at the end, lahat, tandaan niyo lahat ng numbers in terms of factors ay laging may kasama yung 1. Tama? Tama. So, lagi doon kayo magsisimula sa 1. Okay, let's try positive 1. So, by synthetic division, ito yung magiging process natin sa synthetic division. So, I have this. So, tatry natin 1. Yung 1 as a root. Okay, so these are the numerical coefficients of the given. So, yung 2 galing sa 2x cubed, yung negative 1 is negative x squared, yung negative 4 ay sa negative 4x, at yung 3 natin ay yung constant. Okay, so reveal lang natin. First step is to carry down the first number, and this is 2, and then multiply it to our possible root. So, 2 times 1 is 2, and then negative 1 plus 2 is 1. And then repeat the process. 1 times 1 is 1. Negative 4 plus 1 is negative 3. Negative 3 times 1 is negative 3. And 3 plus negative 3 is 0. So, since the last entry on the last row is 0, then 1 is a solution. So, pwede natin sabihin na yung 1 is one of the solutions. Kasi, nakakuha tayo ng remainder na 0. Okay? And then, after natin makuha yung first solution natin, so gagamitin naman natin ngayon yung itong mga numbers na to continue the process. So the depressed equation now is this 2x squared. Okay, 2x squared. So papakita natin ako saan nanggaling to. So 2x squared, dito siya galing, no? 2x squared plus x minus 3. So dun nanggaling to. Okay, itong equation na to. Dito siya galing sa quotient natin nung tayo ay nag-synthetic division. So, ngayon, hindi na natin gagamitin ito. Hindi na natin gagamitin itong equation na to. Okay? Ang gagamitin na natin ay itong ating depressed equation na galing sa ating synthetic division. Okay. So, for our step 3, solve the depressed equation to find the other solution. So, this is our depressed equation. Now, so I have 2x squared plus x minus 3 is equal to 0. At dahil ito ay quadratic equation na, pwede nyo nang i-apply yung process ng factoring nung kayo ay grade 8, grade 9, naituro yan. Mas mabilis yan, no? Yung factoring or quadratic formula. So, the factors of the equation 2x squared plus x minus 3 is equal to 0 are 2x plus 3 and x minus 1. At after mo makuha yung factors niyan, so by zero product property, then we can say that 2x plus 1 is equal to 0, and then x minus 1 is equal to 0. And then solving each linear equations would give us this. So the first value of x is negative 3 halves, and the other one is 1. So saan nanggaling yung negative 3 halves? Dito siya kay 2x plus 3. So mabilis lang ipakita natin paano natin nakuha yon. So if you have here, so using yung ating factor na 2x, okay, plus 3. Okay, so alam niyo naman yun, yung first process natin is to get first the additive inverse of the constant, and yung 3, that is negative 3. So you will have now 2x is equal to negative 3, and then we multiply this by 1/2. Okay, both sides of the equation by 1/2. So ang mangyari dito, 2x times 1/2 is that is x, and then negative 3 times 1/2 is negative 3 halves, or negative 3 over 2. That's why nakuha natin yung value ng x na to na negative 3 over 2. And then yung 1 naman ay nanggaling kay x minus 1 is equal to 0. So, madali lang yan. Get the additive inverse of negative 1, and that is 1. Okay. So, therefore, the solutions of the polynomial equations 2x cubed minus x squared minus 4x plus 3 are 1, 1, and negative 3 halves. So, again, tama tayo. Tatlo yung factors na nakuha natin dahil ang degree natin ay 3. So, 1, 1, and negative 3 halves. Or we can say that 1 multiplicity of 2, ibig sabihin yung 1 na factor ay twice siya na ulit. And then you have negative 3 halves. So, you can also write in this form. Okay, yung negative in this form. Yan. 1 multiplicity 2 and negative 3 halves. Okay, I hope na-gets yan. Kung medyo malabo itong sa part na to, pwede nyong balikan yung video, no? Review. Okay, so kung masyadong mabilis. But again, nakuha natin yung ating goal na makuha yung tatlong solution for this polynomial equation. So tandaan yung number of solutions ay nakadepende sa degree, kung ano yung number of degree natin. Okay? Okay, next example. Example number 3. Find the roots or solutions of the polynomial equation 2x raised to 4 plus 7x cubed plus 4x squared minus 7x minus 6 is equal to 0. Okay? Now, for our solution, so the possible roots are p over q. Ayan. Naipakita ko na naman ito sa inyo kanina. So, these are the possible roots. So, again, possible roots lang ito. Okay? Hindi yan yung lahat na kukunin natin. No? So, again, nakadepende sa kung ilan yung, kung ano yung degree natin. Yun lang yung dami ng roots natin. So, itong mga yan, itong positive 1, negative 1, positive negative 2. So, galing yan sa numerical coefficients ng leading term at saka nung constant. Okay, so setting up the synthetic division and choosing 1 as a solution. So, laging ganun, ha? So, piliin nyo muna yung pinakasimple and that is 1. So, lagi lang kisimula sa 1. Okay? At kapag hindi naman siya nag-0, so try nyo yung negative 1 naman. Tapos siya kayo mag-jump sa 2 bago kayo mag-jump sa 3. So, doon tayo sa pinakasimple at pinakamadali na gamitin na solution. So, that is yung positive 1. Okay, so if you're going to use 1, so dito sa ating synthetic division, so again, yung ating first row are the numerical coefficients of the given equations. So and then just follow the procedure for the synthetic division. You carry down the first number and then you multiply it to the possible solution and then add it to the next term. Okay, kaya yan nalalabas. At fortunately, ang dulo natin ay 0. So, the last entry of the third row is 0. Therefore, yung 1 is a solution with 2x cubed plus 9x squared plus 13x plus 6 equal to 0 as a depressed equation. So, ito naman na yung gagamitin natin na equation. So, hindi na natin gagamitin yung original na given kasi na-depress na natin siya, napaliit na natin siya kasi nag-divide na tayo. Okay, so ito na yung mga susunod nating equation. Ito na magiging guide natin. Itong 2x cubed plus 9x squared plus 13x plus 6 is equal to 0. So, okay, now, so we're going to repeat the process but this time using the coefficients of the depressed equation na, ha? Hindi na yung given equation kanina. So, tatayin naman natin yung negative 1. Yan, sinasabi ko, lalaki lang magsisimula muna sa pinakamababa at pinakasimpleng possible solution niya or roots para madali lang mag-compute. So, luckily, nung ginamit natin si negative 1 at ayun, nagkama pa rin tayo sa 0 remainder. So, the last entry of the third row is 0. Therefore, negative 1 is a solution. Okay, yun naman yung concept ng remainder theorem, di ba? So, once na ang remainder may 0, therefore, yung ginamit mo doon na root ay yung solution niya. Okay? So, again, pag nagsisynthetic division tayo, nare-reduce natin yung ating equation. So, the reduced equation now, yung depressed equation natin is the 2x squared plus 7x plus 6 is equal to 0. So, ito na ngayon yung gagamitin natin sa next procedure. So, nakakailang solutions na ba tayo? Or roots? Okay, very good. Nakakadalawa na tayo. Isang positive 1 at saka isang negative 1. So, again, sa problem na to, ang hinahanap natin ay 4, no? 4 roots or 4 solutions. So, dalawa na lang. Kaya, nandito na tayo sa quadratic equation. So, gagamitin na natin ngayon itong 2x squared plus 7x plus 6 is equal to 0 to get the remaining 2, the last 2 solutions or roots. Okay, since the reduced equation is quadratic, we can solve it using factoring or quadratic formula. So, by factoring, if this is our equation, okay, if this is our equation now, so by factoring, ang factors niyan ay 2x plus 3 and x plus 2. And then, solving for the value of x, you're going to equate each linear factor to 0. So, you have 2x plus 3 is equal to 0. Therefore, your x is negative 3 over 2. And then, for x plus 2 is equal to 0, your x is equal to negative 2. So, this is the two remaining factors or solution roots for this problem. Okay, so therefore, the solutions or roots of the polynomial equation 2x raised to 4 plus 7x cubed plus 4x squared minus 7x minus 6 is equal to 0 are negative 1, negative 3 over 2, negative 2, and 1. So, papansin nyo, wala tayong ginamit na multiplicity dito kasi wala namang naulit na factors. So, yung apat na factors na to ay distinct. So, magkakaiba sila. So, we have negative 1, negative 3 over 2, negative 2, and 1. In any order yan, no? Kahit alin unahin nyo dyan, ang importante is makuha natin yung apat na solution or roots in this fourth root naka fourth root ito yung degree natin, no? Ang highest exponent natin is 4, kaya ang in-expect natin na number of roots or solutions natin ay 4 din. Okay, I hope na-gets nyo tong process na to. Medyo mahaba siya, but again, worth it yan dahil nakita nyo naman, pa isa-isa natin kinukuha yung mga roots hanggang makompleto natin yung total number of solutions or roots for the given polynomial equation. Okay, let's have our last example. Illustrative example number 4. Find a polynomial equation in standard form whose roots are 1, 2, and negative 3. Ayan. Dito naman sa example na to, babalik ta rin natin yung proseso. Kanina, naka-standard, no? Standard form yung mga given. Tapos kinukuha natin yung roots. Ngayon naman, babalik ta rin natin. Bibigay naman dito yung roots. Binigay sa atin yung roots. Ano naman yung kanyang pinanggalingang polynomial equation? Diba? So, ni-reverse natin yung process. So, paano natin gagawin yon? First is, since a polynomial equation has roots of 1, 2, and negative 3, we can find the polynomial equation by writing each root as a factor of polynomial. So, again, yung mga roots din, alam natin, yung mga roots na to, ang pinanggalingan yan ay factor. So, ganoon din, i-reverse lang natin. Isusulat natin ito as a factor of a polynomial. So, paano ba natin sinusulat ang factor of a polynomial kapag ang given ay roots? So, paano siya? So, that is if 1, 2, and negative 3 are solution, then ito yung kanyang mga equivalent na factors. So, x minus 1, x minus 2, x plus 3. Bakit? Kasi kapag kinumpit mo tong mga to, yung x minus 1, pag kinumpit mo to, inequate mo sa 0, ang value ng x nito is 1. Okay. Tapos ito naman x minus 2, pag inequate mo sa 0, anong value ng x? Correct. That is 2. And then yung x plus 3, pag inequate mo sa 0, tapos solve for x, ano magiging value ng x? Negative 3. Okay, therefore, these are the factors of the given polynomial. Kasi kapag kinuha mo yung mga roots nito, ang lalabas is itong mga given natin. Na 1, 2, and negative 3. Okay, now, after mong maisulat yung as a factor na siya, yung roots ay ginawa mo ng factors, ano na yung next step? Okay, our next step now is to get the product of all the factors. So again, ito na yung mga factors natin, x minus 1, x minus 2, and x plus 3 is equal to 0. So, naka-factored form itong ating polynomial equation. So, what you're going to do ay kailangan maging standard to. So, we're going to multiply. Just get the product, diba? So, multiply natin itong tatlong factors na to. So, again, paano natin gagawin yan? First is, by pair tayo. So, gamitin natin siya ng FOIL method. So, gamitin muna natin itong first pair natin, itong x minus 1 times x minus 2. So, ito yung ginamit natin. So, by FOIL method, or distributive property, ito yung magiging product niya. So, paano natin nakuha yan? So, x times x is x squared. So, pakita lang natin, isa-isa. Okay? So, you have x times x is x squared. And then, x times negative 2 is negative 2x. And then, negative 1 times x is negative x. And negative 1 times negative 2 is positive 2. And then, simplify this by combining the like terms. So, itong dalawang to ay like. Ayan, magkapareha yan, no? Same terms yan sila. So, negative 2x minus x. So, we need to add, okay, the two terms here. Kaya nagkaroon tayo ng negative 3x dito. So, ang product ng ating first pair of factors, x minus 1 times x minus 2 is x squared. Okay, ito yung kanyang product. X squared minus 3x plus 2. Okay? So, yan yung ating first product. After this, i-multiply na natin siya dun sa ating third factor. So that is x plus 3. So multiply natin yung ating nakuhang product na x squared minus 3x plus 2 sa x plus 3. So dito ay distributive property. So isa-isahin lang natin. X squared times x is x cubed. X squared, negative 3x times x is negative 3x squared. Tapos 2 times x is 2x. And then next naman is this part, no? Sa 3 naman, x squared times 3 is 3x squared. Tapos negative 3x times 3 is negative 9x. And then 2 times 3 is 6. And then, ang last step dyan, syempre, is to simplify this by combining like terms. So what you're going to do is going to combine itong negative 3x squared saka itong plus 3x squared. So pag inad natin yan, 0 yan. And then 2x tsaka itong negative 9x, magiging negative 7x yan. So kaya ang naging final answer natin ay ito. So nagkaroon tayo ng x cube. So dahil wala siya ka-partner, carry down lang natin yan, x cube. At then yung negative 7x ay nanggaling sa 2x minus 9x. And then yung ating constant na 6. So nawala yung x squared natin kasi negative 3x squared plus 3x squared, that is 0. So, okay. And then equate na natin siya sa 0 to finalize our answer. So our final answer now for this equation is, so ano ang equation ng ating factored form? So ito na ngayon siya. X cubed minus 7x plus 6 is equal to 0. Okay, that's how we end our solution for our last example. Okay, so ganyan yung process kung paano kukunin yung standard form na equation given the factored form of the polynomial. Okay, so I hope marami kayong natutunan in this part. That's the end of our session. So to summarize our learnings for this lesson. So again, to solve polynomial equations, consider the following steps. Okay, so first is to list all the possible roots of the polynomial equation using the rational root theorem. Yan yung pag-identify ng P and Q. And then apply the factor theorem and use synthetic division to check if one of the listed roots is a factor. So napakahalaga na may mastery kayo ng synthetic division. Kasi kung papasin nyo, maraming beses natin siyang ginamit. Kasi ito yung gagamitin natin para ma-identify natin if yung ating napiling root is a factor. Again, marami tayong mga possible roots, but ilan lang doon yung magiging root ng given equation. Kaya mahalaga na marunong tayong gumamit ng synthetic division at alam natin yung concept about the factor theorem. And last is to solve the depressed equation to find the other solution. So napakahalaga na napapababa natin, nadidepress natin equation kasi ibig sabihin lumiliit na yung dami ng factors niya hanggang sa makaabot tayo sa last two factors of the given equation. Okay, so here are the three steps na kailangan natin to solve polynomial equations. Once again, thank you very much for watching. Stay healthy and safe. God bless us all.